Hello, I'm Aaron Millar of Millar Legal, and I'm excited to be joined by Ms. Kimra Douglas.
Hello.
Excited to introduce a new opportunity, a new way of supporting our clients here at Millar Legal as they pass through, whether it be business litigation, a civil dispute, or in many cases, a divorce or a custody dispute. Events in your lives where you're experiencing a great deal of stress and where you've asked Millar Legal to help guide you from a legal standpoint. We are excited to introduce Kimra as a life coach here to support our clients. Kimra, could you tell us a little more about yourself?
Sure. I'm so happy to be here. I started the journey for coaching about 4 years ago. I guess I was finishing school, going through a life change, and was introduced to the concept of coaching being an empowerment that I could give to myself, and that in the future I could give to others. And I just loved being a part and understanding that truly you are a creator in your life. You're not a victim to whatever those circumstances that your clients will be coming to you with. You're not a victim. You can be a creator. And that knowing that identity and knowing that you can reestablish trust through the modalities that I learned was life-changing, transformational, incredibly impactful to my life personally. And now, as I've been a coach for a few years and continue to get certifications, I've just had even more opened up to me. So I have multiple certifications in the Creation Coach School, as well as the Center for Healing in Australia, really helping people to heal from trauma. So I'm trauma informed and understand the complexities that happen when difficult circumstances come to us, as well as heroically trained, knowing that through these experiences, we can actually become stronger and come out on the other side more of who we actually really want to be and become. So,
Millar Legal clients will surely benefit from your expertise. And we are so grateful that you are joining forces with us. So meaningful. And what you just described fits perfectly within the purposes of what Millar Legal envisioned for this life coaching role. You mentioned empowerment. Clients come to us, they don't feel empowered. They often feel extremely vulnerable. They feel like they are in a challenging time of their lives. And so the three purposes that we envisioned are supporting each client in staying steady and clear-headed during major legal events. Those events might be a mediation, they might be a hearing, they might be a trial. In every case, the clients need to show up with intention, with honesty, and with self-respect. And that is so important. So that's one of the purposes. The second purpose is help each client to begin the healing process so they can rebuild trust, confidence, and healthy connection in every part of life. Now, in some of our cases, our clients are going through what they call a family law dispute. In many cases, divorce. Often there is a soon-to-be ex or someone who is an ex. They are already divorced and in the post-divorce proceedings. And we wanted to help those particular clients to better co-parent. So to equip those clients with the ways that they can communicate better with their ex in a way that's clear and calm and protects their peace.
beautiful.
I thought I would just ask you a few questions, Kimra, to give you some more opportunity to explain a little bit more about what coaching might be like with you. For example, what could a client expect in their first few sessions with you? How would you help clients to start making sense of things?
That is a really good question, Aaron, because when you're in that time, I call it a time of crisis, really. And we learn to name things what they are. So people are going through crisis when they're going through any of the things that you mentioned. And so we know what we don't want, but what do we want? So we learn to focus and understand, first of all, where are they? We'll establish that with even before we meet, where are you now? Where are you? What are the tools that you have currently? And what's working, what's not working? And I do a lot of identity work. So people can understand, well, who are they outside of this crisis? Because sometimes you forget. And we want to remember, who are you outside of the crisis, and what are your strengths that you do have? What are the things that are important to you? And I call it establishing a foundation again. So a foundational 5, which is focus, identity, intention, values, and faith. When we have that kind of a foundational start to what we're going through with the litigation or any aspect of what you're doing, it gives people a place that they feel like they can stand. And I know for me, as I was going through really big life changes, I didn't even know who I was. And so establishing that in the very first few sessions together will be life-changing, and it will help the clients to be able to know and have confidence in themselves, no matter what comes at them. So that'll be the first thing.
Yeah, and that's really important for them to stay grounded to those big 5, as you identified. Our clients are going to be experiencing some things for the first time. In other cases, they've been through this litigation path before, so they're familiar with it. But in any case, it's always high conflict. It's always high emotion. How do you help clients through these high emotional events like mediation or trial to stay stable, to stay grounded, to stay confident?
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely building upon the foundational 5 that we talked about, we add tools. There's so many tools that we could use tools, we could use processes, patterns, whatever, that they can fall back on. One of which that I think is so fascinating is that we are not our emotions. But our emotions are very telling, and we can learn from them and embrace them and help them teach us what is needed. We don't have to be afraid of them. And I think that is a life-changing thing that I learned. I didn't know I wanted to always be happy. We want to be happy. We want to get through. We want to be done. But actually, can we learn from these emotions that are coming up and be able to create responses because of what we learn as we face those emotions? So that's one thing. We'll do a lot of that. And then the second thing that I love so much is we are also not our thoughts. So circumstances are completely separate, and I will be able to teach anyone that I get the privilege of coaching that they can be aware of their thoughts and how those thoughts are impacting their results that they're getting. So if they can be intentional in their thoughts after they've processed these emotions, then they're going to come grounded to these proceedings. They're going to come grounded to the high conflict areas because they're going to know they don't have to be afraid. They don't have to be afraid. They can establish trust on their own through the work that they'll do outside of the litigation, and also then be able to come and embody that when they're in that deep conflict.
I really appreciate you saying that, Kimra, because I think each person can appreciate how we label emotions positive or negative. Mm-hmm. If we're experiencing happiness or joy, we say this is positive. And if we're experiencing some stress or some disappointment, some sadness, we label that as negative. Mm-hmm. But we can embrace that feeling, look at it, examine it, hold it, mm-hmm. and ultimately experience it in a different way. Yeah. And I really appreciate you assisting clients to be able to do that, because often we need some help. Millar Legal clients, as I noted, are going through really difficult times. They are wounded in some way, whether their business, they were betrayed in some way, or whether they were betrayed by a family member. In each case, these wounds need to be healed. How do you help clients to heal those wounds?
Healing is possible, And we will just continue on up. So we talk about those foundational 5, we talk about the tools, and then we focus on the processes. So we have the identity of, I am going through this and I am going to get through it, right? And those many will get more into that as we go. But the focus isn't so much on the outcome at this point as it is on the processes. So how am I showing up for myself in how I take care of my physical body, my mental body, my spiritual body, like all of those things. And then how am I showing up in the proceedings? And as you do that, each thing that you do contributes to adding trust to the person, identity to that person, that sense of self, and wholeness is already there because of what you're doing and focusing on. So that's why I call my coaching practice Love Today. It's impossible to love where you're at, you think, because you're going through this crisis. But if you are learning to support yourself, which is what we'll do as we work together, through these patterns that you'll put into your life, that healing process starts day one. And it's always day one, because the only place where we actually have the opportunity to do anything is today. And learning that concept of presence and intention will help that focus to be on wholeness, on healing from the very beginning. And that confidence will just build and build, and I call it like spiraling up, right? We're going to have those difficult days, and that's okay, because we can process through them and we can have that turn around that will establish trust and healing is possible.
That sentiment should give each of our clients a great deal of hope. And that is what I want each of our clients to experience with the additional support that we're providing them, not just on the legal side, which is obviously what Millar Legal handles, but also on the emotional side, on the ability to guide their life choices in an intentional way, as opposed to just allowing circumstances to happen to them and cause them to feel how they're going to feel. Mm-hmm. So thank you for bringing your gifts to Millar Legal and blessing our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be an honor and a privilege. And how lucky are your clients to have you and that vision that you have, and your intention to support them through this process that you know is difficult, not only with your expertise as an attorney, but also with knowing as you add people to your team, that will provide greater value and success for them.
So when it comes to business litigation, civil disputes, but obviously very rife with conflict, with disagreement, and feelings of betrayal, often by somebody who was very close in a business setting. Those clients I'm guiding through the legal process. How can you help them through the emotions that they're dealing with in those highly contentious business settings?
That's a good question. One of the things I learned early on is actually knowing how to navigate through conflict. And it's actually a little bit easier than you think it is in some ways. It's very doable. And that is that we name the conflict. We can divide chaos of everything that's going on, the betrayal, the dollar signs, the what next, from the order of, well, what's important for me to do right now, today? What is needed for myself to remain solvent, or how do I need to advocate for myself? Those kind of things. Super important to have awareness around what's the chaos that's not in my control and what is actually in my control. What can I do? And how can the client actually even ask you better questions to know how they can move forward. The concept of identity, process, outcome. So we decide, what is that thing we're going to try to accomplish? Who are we going into the thing we're trying to accomplish? And then we figure out what are the processes that are necessary to accomplish what we want to do. And then the outside ring of that identity, process, outcome is the outcome. This is the cool part. Outcome is guaranteed, because there's 2 circles in the middle. Identity, who are you? What do you stand for? What are your values? What is it you're trying to accomplish? then you establish the processes. What are the things that need to happen? I need to learn how to understand my emotions. I need to talk with my litigator. I need to go through this step and this step. I need to divide chaos and order. I need to show up for myself every day. Like those, focus on those processes. You don't even have to think about the outcome because the outcome is guaranteed. It's guaranteed. And that changed my life because I didn't know what to trust. I didn't understand what was going on in my life changes. And I use that over and over and over again in my own life to this day and with each one of my clients. It's incredibly powerful and empowering because you don't have to worry about so much the outcome as this is what I can do today, this is what I can do today.
I think that's so valuable in the context of litigation because so many of my clients will approach the litigation and say, I will be happy if the outcome is among these options. And if those clients can capture that the outcome is guaranteed because this is who you are independent of this particular circumstance that you're dealing with, that is empowering.
So true. So true. And then when you get to that outcome, whatever it is that you keep walking and you get to that place, guess what? You get to keep creating forward and you get to find what's that new identity. What are those processes I'm going to do now? And you just keep going. You keep going and life can get better and better and you become more and more transformed by the processes to be able to really create a life that you love out of these ashes, if you will, or these difficult circumstances, post-traumatic growth, they say. Oh yeah, that's what I'm for.
So many of us just want to get through it.
Yeah.
In some cases, it's, I'm just going to let my attorney handle it. I will give them the information that they need, and then I'm going to get back to my life and the things that I really care about because this isn't a nuisance.
Sure.
So what's the value in pausing for a second and processing what's going on a little bit more than just saying, this is just a box to be checked?
Everything that one of your clients has done has brought them to this point where they're at, right? So if we keep going in that way, we are going to recreate the same things again and again. So the value comes because I can learn actually from the circumstances that my decisions have brought me to, or that other people's, or that circumstance, right? I can learn and I can grow, but there's only one way you can do that, and that is if you're open to it. Am I open to having more awareness around what brought me to here? What will I do different next time as I move forward? Am I aware of that? Am I willing to be vulnerable enough, just even to myself, to take a look at, wow, what brought me to here? And that's not for the faint of heart, but it is for everyone. Everyone has the capacity to learn and grow. I do believe that. I believe we are creators and we want to grow. We want to progress. We want to be our best self. And the only way to do that is to be open, to think maybe I could be open. What if I was open to this, to learning? What if I was open just to a little bit of feeling some emotions that I don't want to feel? What if I was open to a new way forward, a new story that I could tell myself, a new awareness around, wow, words are really important. My thoughts are really important. Then that will take us on a different trajectory, a healthier one. So I think that's just incredibly valuable to anyone who is going through crisis that wants to not repeat it. And more than that, that wants to be able to come out the other side with a better and healthier trajectory than they had before.
I think that is really important, especially for clients who may be reluctant to meet with one of our life coaches. They may be thinking, this isn't for me. Yes, I'm dealing with a stressful time, but I've got my family. I got this. Why might they want to give this a shot?
When you have something going on in your work side, with the business litigation, you're going to be affected in your energy and also with your relationships in your life. Everything affects everything. And same as if you're going through a divorce, your work is going to be affected. Your energy is going to be affected. And so we can't just compartmentalize things. All affects all. And having the awareness of that, well, we talk about in coaching, we talk about the busier you are, the more important your protocol, the more important the processes that you do to take care of you. I would say the heavier the litigation, the more painful the divorce, the more important your process is for taking care of yourself. And gathering a team to help you be able to do that is essential. So you're part of the team. Their family is part of the team. I'm part of the team. Right? And there's many others that will be part of their team that will help them for this season. It's just a season. It's just a time they're passing through, and they will get through it. And how they get through it will be based upon their own personal work, their openness to it, and also who they bring along to help them in that process.
And we are so grateful, Kimra, that you are here to support our clients. We hope that you feel empowered, that you feel like this opportunity to work with Millar Legal Life Coaches, that this will bless your life. Outside of what is a short term, it might seem like it's going on forever, it might seem like it is all of your world, but trust us that there is more to life than this particular dispute, and allow us to help you and support you, not just on the legal side, but also on the personal side, to empower you to make life beautiful.